see a 50-50 split, right? Sean Porter versus Errol Spence. Errol Spence gives him a 50-50 split. But now, when it comes to the man Bud Crawford, Errol Spence is talking about take this 70-30 split, or before you know it, it's going to be a 70-30 split. See, I can't respect these fighters, man. Sorry. I can't. Now look, the man Bud Crawford is arguably the number one pound for pound fighter on the planet. I believe he is. I believe he's better than Naoya Inoue as far as skill set. I believe he's better than Cannoli as far as skill set. I believe Inoue is better than Cannoli as far as skill set, all right? So the man Errol Spence basically tried to tell the man Terence Crawford about needing to accept a 60-40 split that he had offered to him at one point in time. But now it's too late. According to the man, Errol Spence, who holds the IBF and WBC welterweight straps, he says he's now offering the man Bud Crawford 70-30, and it could very well be 80-20 if you don't accept this 70-30 that Spence is talking about. Spence is 27-0, 21 KOs, and he's given this man an ultimatum, Bud Crawford, you know what I mean, to take this 70-30 split. Otherwise, you're going to have to take this 80-20. Now, why would the man Errol Spence talk about a 70-30 when he gave these other fighters like Bud Crawford, Terence, Mikey Garcia, and Sean Porter. And I'm pretty sure he gave Danny Garcia a 50-50 split. You know what I mean? Why? Because those guys are on PBC and the man Bud Crawford is not? Come on now. Before you know it, this man Errol Spence will probably be talking about 90-10. If it's $1 million in the pot, or let's say $10 million. The man Errol Spence wants $9 million, and the man Bud Crawford take $10 million. That's basically, $1 million. That's what he's talking about, you know what I mean? Now, the man Terence Crawford, man, he also got to make moves too, because he's not fighting the best fighters at 147 pounds. And you can see why the man Errol Spence is talking about 70-20, 70-30, excuse me. I personally don't agree with it, because really and truly, there ain't nothing that the man Errol Spence has done that the man Bud Crawford hasn't done, except at welterweight, just unified titles. If you're talking about at 140, the man Bud Crawford swept that whole division, got himself 4 straps, became undisputed. He's been a lineal champion in 2 different weight classes with the Ring Magazine belt attached to them, from 135 to 140. And before 135, before he was a lineal champion, man, it had been a long time there was a lineal champion at 135. You know what I'm saying? So there ain't nothing that he hasn't done, not to mention Bud Crawford's Errol Spence has never even been the number one pound for pound fighter, period, on the planet. So this is what the man Errol Spence went on his social media to say. He said, quote, "It's 70-30 now. Okay, boy? You're going to make me do 80-20. I'm an 80-20. Pay what you weigh," end quote. Yeah, you see, I don't like the way this man Errol Spence is talking. Those to me sound like duck tactics, you know what I mean? Now, I know Errol Spence has a lot of fans, and they're going to be probably mad at this video that I'm saying they mad Errol Spence is ducking. And believe you me, I don't give a fuck about none of these fighters, Slim. I don't. I just want to see the fight. I kept it tall with y'all. Bud Crawford fighting guys like Kell Brook and Kavalauskas, that ain't cutting it. But then again, where's Errol Spence's lineal strap? Where's that his lineal? Because at the end of the day in boxing, I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. In boxing, if you're not undisputed, you best believe you got to be a lineal champ. And I don't care what nobody say. A lot of people try to downplay lineal stuff because apparently a fighter that they don't like might be a lineal champion and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Or fellas like Tyson Fury was lying the whole time that he's a lineal champ And ESPN was propping him up to be a lineal champ when he really wasn't. You know what I mean? Now he is. I have no problem with them saying Tyson Fury, the WBC and the lineal champ with the Ring Magazine strap, because that's exactly what he has. You know what I mean? Errol Spence, man, he ain't never touched none of them straps. You know what I mean? Never touched no lineal, but the man Bud Crawford has in 2 different weight classes. And that holds a lot of weight, really and truly. Not to mention being number 1 pound for pound in boxing. You check it. Now, it's obvious that the man, what's his name? Bud Crawford won't be getting this Manny Pacquiao fight. And I knew he wouldn't. Why would Manny Pacquiao risk that? For what? A WBO belt that he's held how many times? At least 3 times? He don't need that. Manny Pacquiao's basically like on a farewell tour, you know what I mean? He ain't going to risk nothing, you know what I'm saying? He got a strap off Keith Thurman, which was a very good win. I knew he would win that fight. And it's a better win than anybody that the man Errol Spence has beat. And that's the truth about it. Yeah, you want to tell me he beat Sean Porter. That's great. He beat Sean Porter. I watched that fight. I had him winning that fight clearly. A lot of people try to front and say that Sean Porter won that. How? The man got dropped. Guess who beat the man Sean Porter? Keith Thurman. Even though I had that fight a draw, but on paper, who beat him? Keith Thurman. You know what I'm saying? You check it. So at the end of the day, Bud Crawford not getting this Manny Pacquiao fight. He needs to get Sean Porter in the ring, you know what I mean? So we can compare and contrast how he does against Sean Porter as opposed to fellas like Keith Thurman and or Errol Spence, you know what I mean? You check it. You know, both these guys, they want Manny Pacquiao, Errol Spence and Bud Crawford. I said personally, man, I don't want to see neither of them fight Manny Pacquiao. I want to see them fight each other. Why would y'all, as young boys, and they're not even young like that. I think the man Bud Crawford is pushing 34, and the man Errol Spence is pushing 31. Y'all need to fight each other. Peers fight each other. Fight your peers. Stop chasing the old man. Even the man what's his name? Floyd Mayweather said, y'all need to fight each other and stop chasing the old man Pacquiao. You know what I mean? You check it. Only other big fights for the man Bud Crawford really is Sean Porter and or the winner of Jose Ramirez versus Josh Taylor. And that's not really a big fight as far as casuals are concerned. Hardcores, we'd love to see the fight, no question. But Errol Spence, at the end of the day, after you fight all these PBC guys, who the hell is there left for him to fight? Dennis Ugas? I made a video when I was on my flight in Amsterdam. Y'all might have seen it, you know what I mean? When I was at the airport in Amsterdam. And I said that man Bud Crawford needs to get the man Ugas in the ring ASAP and try unify straps. You know what I mean? His WBO with Ugas's new WBA title that he was elevated because the man Manny Pacquiao was put into champion in recess because of inactivity. The man Pacquiao has not fought since July of 2019. And I was perfectly fine with that. If Pacquiao is defending his straps, give it up. I feel like that over everybody. I don't care if I like you. I like you as a fighter, you know what I mean? Give it up if you're not defending it. So if the man Bud Crawford gets the man Ugas in the ring and he possibly beats him, I'd favor him to beat him. Guess what? That's 2 straps. You think this man Errol Spence will still be talking about 80-20 or 70-30? Forget about it. You better start talking about 50-50. You know what I mean? But Errol Spence has not been moving like a G, man. I'm trying to tell you, man. He has not. He's not been moving like a fighter who wants legacy and glory. If you beat the man Bud Crawford, you'd automatically, exponentially be the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter on the planet. These fighters don't care about that no more. Like I said in previous videos, they want to take the easiest fight, easiest risk for the biggest payday. They want to play motherfucking fight night on easy, you know what I mean? Rather than the highest level. When I've played in boxing games, I used to play on the highest difficulty level. And that's what the man Errol Spence looks like you want to do right now. You could give him props for beating the man Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia's not even a career welterweight. He's fought at welterweight. He's held a strap at welterweight. But, you know, he's a guy who came up in weight. Just like the man Terrence Crawford. So if that man came up in weight, it should be easy work like the man Danny Garcia. Then why the man don't fight him? You know what I mean? It's gonna be difficult though, man. You know, Top Rank, PBC. We've seen them do cross collaborations before, cross promotions. But to me, I ain't gonna hold you, man. I think that the man Errol Spence is not willing to risk his O and his two straps against Bud Crawford, the switch hitter. And Bud Crawford is not invincible. He's undefeated, but we've seen some flaws in his game. Why the man Errol Spence don't jump at the opportunity to expose them flaws, you know what I mean? Maybe he's not confident in himself. Maybe he feels his dentures gonna pop out at any time, you know what I mean? Gonna be out there looking like an old granny with his dentures in his mug, that, you know what I mean? So we just waiting for this fight. We need this fight in boxing. This is the best fight to be made in boxing. Pound for pound, skill for skill level, you know what I mean? But when this fighter, Errol Spence, is talking about 80-20 against a guy who is more accomplished than him in boxing, and that's the truth of the matter. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Bud Crawford is more accomplished than this man, Errol Spence, in this game of boxing. 3 different weight class champion, 2-time lineal champion. You know what I'm saying? Just like Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford did it first. Went over he went over to Scotland, hostile territory, very racist country. Yeah. And beat that man in his backyard, Ricky Burns, you know what I mean? Ricky Burns was a more accomplished fighter than the man Kell Brook. That's the truth about it. At that time when Bud Crawford had beat him, he was a 2 different weight class champion. You know what I mean? So the man Errol Spence really got to sit back and really think about what he's talking about, especially when he presses send on his social media talking some nut-ass shit. Undisputed is what we want at 140. 47, excuse me. The best fight to be made is between the 2 best fighters at 147. What's the point of aging each other out? What's the point? Somebody don't want that smoke. And to me, it's the guy who holds 2 straps. B-Marsh Boxing, leave your thoughts and comments. What's up with you, low blow champ? He's in the chat. What's good, my G? He says Spence don't want it. Well, he's acting like he don't want it, outpricing himself. All right, B-Marsh Boxing. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.